What's up? It's your girl LJ. And as you can see, I'm in a new environment. This is gonna be my gym, my home gym. Uh we starting from the bottom, okay? I just got done sweeping and I'm getting ready to lay these rubber gym towels down. I gotta get my winning starts here sign, get it fresh. So I'm gonna freshen up that white on it. Uh, Yeah, this the bottle. Y'all gonna see what it gets here. Y'all gonna see the work I put in to make it look a little better, okay? Um, but while I was in the middle of cleaning, it just kind of fell on my heart to finally talk about the topic of fertility. Uh, this has been something that I've kind of been putting off as far as talking about. If you guys have been following my videos, you know I was diagnosed with stage 4 endometriosis. If you don't know what that is, please feel free to watch some of my earlier videos where I talk about it. So, with fertility, I feel like growing up is something you don't really think about. The women around you seem to get pregnant with no issues. And unless you were told something by the doctor at any point in time, you really don't feel like that's going to be an issue for you, right? It's not something you really think about until you get to the point of wanting to start a family. So for me, because I always had normal cycles, my cycle pretty much comes clockwork. I could pretty much tell you the hour of when it was about to start. Never had any issues as far as getting them. However, my biggest problem was the heavy bleeding. I'm talking about throwing up, having to miss school. Those were issues that I had, but I was always told that's normal, right? So even from a young age to the older I got, going to the doctor, as I started getting cysts, talk to them about the fibroids, I was told all of that was normal, not an issue, not a concern. And I've had to miss work. I remember I was deployed and I had a cyst rupture. Um, so here we are, where last year it finally got so bad that I had to be rushed to the hospital. And that's when it was finally taken serious. So that's where they found the cyst, the fibroids, and that's when while I was undergoing my surgery, that's when it was officially diagnosed that I had stage 4 endometriosis, um, which is the worst case you can have. So in that, before I had those surgeries, excuse me, before I had those surgeries, I asked about egg retrieval because I was worried that um, once I go into surgery, a lot of times you see on TV where the person comes out of the surgery and the doctor's like, unfortunately, we had to, I don't want to hear none of that. So I asked about egg retrieval prior to my surgery. My doctor pretty much told me, like, you probably won't get quality eggs. And he didn't really elaborate on why. And maybe that's why I should have pushed it a little more. Like, can you explain why? And my doctor's just very nonchalant. And I hate that. Did amazing work with my surgery, but kind of hate how nonchalant he is. But he was like, you're not gonna get quality eggs. So pretty much he explained, and let me, I guess, rewind a little bit. When I was taken to the hospital and told about my cyst and fibroids, I then was told that I need to go see my doctor immediately because the cysts could possibly wrap themselves around my ovaries and strangle them. That's what I was told. So immediately I was referred to, from my primary doctor, I was referred to a particular OBGYN that they wanted me to see. And while he was doing his exam, he was like, he said my uterus wasn't moving like it should. And then he's like, I think you got endometriosis, which at that time I didn't know what endometriosis was. And I didn't know how those two could even correlate and how you came to that conclusion so quickly with this exam, right? So I get dressed, we meet in his office, and he's basically like, I think you're infertile. And, had my mask on, COVID, and I'm just crying, but I'm trying to be a G. But now that mask couldn't hide those tears because I couldn't understand what he was telling me because I've always been told when you want to have kids, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. You work out, you eat good, girl, you take care of yourself. It ain't gonna be no problems for you. So hearing those words, like after that, it was like womp 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 womp. Like I could hear nothing else he was saying because that what he said at that point didn't make sense to me, right? So he was like, we're gonna have to do a surgery to get rid of the cyst, the fibroid, and to verify because they claim that the only way they can diagnose endometriosis is through laparoscopic surgery. I've been doing my research. I've seen where other people said they could see it on ultrasound, and I don't know, but I was told only through surgery. But because I needed surgery anyway, and I say needed like that because in a way I do feel like there are other ways to go about healing your body. But I will say at that point, with the pain I was in and the I guess how bad my body had got, surgery was the main option for me. But after that surgery, I started feeling a lot better. They removed that first surgery, they removed cysts. The main focus was the endometriosis because that's when it was confirmed in that first surgery that I did have it. And my doctor basically explained that it was bad. Um, they couldn't even remove the fibroid at that surgery because of how widespread the endometriosis was. It had pretty much started to bind um, my organs together. So my doctor pretty much had to try to pull them like I don't know the verbiage, so y'all don't come in here trying to give me terminology. Okay. I just know it took 3 hours of scrubbing and they had to cut part of my intestines, blah 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 blah. So anyway, let's get back to fertility side. So comes out that surgery and pretty much says I had a follow-up appointment. Well, first of all, I was put on injections. I was put on injections for 6 months that were pretty much put me in a state of menopause. Um, and that was to slow the endometriosis because, like I told you guys, they weren't able to complete my full surgery of removing the fibroid due to the fact that the endometriosis being so bad. That became the focus of the first surgery. So I had to have a second surgery in August. That surgery is where they focused more so on removing the fibroid, which I ended up having two of them, and trying to get any remaining endometriosis that may have grown. But like I said, from our other videos, I kind of explained what happens with endometriosis. It pretty much grows during your period. So that's why I was put on like these injections that will pretty much get rid of your period. That way the endometriosis can't grow. So I was on those for 6 months. And after that, my cycle came back within, I want to say about 2 months of me coming off those injections. I had a follow-up appointment. I had a few follow-up appointments, but the latest one I had was in December. And that's when my doctor pretty much explained to me that my right tube was blocked due to the scarring of the endometriosis. Um, so it's like I went from at the beginning of surgery, where he pretty much told me I was 0% chance of getting pregnant, to ultimately 50% chance of being able to get pregnant. Because to me, even though, yes, I reached out to him recently and he said you can still get pregnant with one tube, right? But to me, I feel like not having both, it reduces my chances, right? So in my eyes, I went from 0% at the beginning of surgery to now I feel like I'm at 50. We'll say 50 to 75%. Um, and I know the body can do some amazing things. And I've been told that with my right tube being blocked, the left side can try to take that egg to that side and have it go through that tube. But you just never know. So I almost feel like each month is kind of a guessing game on whether or not you would even ovulate. And that is, I believe from my research, what they say is the number one reason that most women have a hard time getting pregnant is you don't know if you're ovulating. And sometimes you may miss a month where you don't ovulate. Like you just never know. And so by checking your hormones, you can be told whether or not you actually did ovulate. So that's pretty much where I'm at right now in my journey. Is I each month I'm just testing my hormones to kind of see where I'm at. There's your FSH, which from what I've been told is how you monitor like your ovarian reserve or where you're at as far as your egg count. It can kind of help you with that to where if your FSH is too high, it can let you know whether or not you're getting close to menopause as far as having a lower egg count. Estrogen is normally higher with women who have endometriosis and PCOS. Um, your LH hormone is what pretty much lets you know when you're about to ovulate. And then PDG pretty much lets you know a couple of days after you've ovulated, it confirms whether you actually did. So that's where I'm at right now in my fertility, is really just checking my hormones and seeing where I'm at. I feel like trying to get pregnant month to month to month and being disappointed, I don't know if I can handle that. Like, I don't know if I can handle being disappointed. Now, and I feel like it's going to happen regardless, because you don't know if it's going to happen the first time, right? It's not the first time you try to get pregnant doesn't mean it's necessarily going to happen. But right now, I'm just checking my hormones. But this whole process is kind of frustrating. I just wish somebody kind of would have listened to me in the very beginning. And I have a lot of woulda, shoulda, coulda. Like, I should have got pregnant sooner in life, or maybe I should have made my career such a big deal for me. But of course, you want to be able to raise a child financially stable and happy, right? So that was my biggest concern, is making sure that my career is where I wanted it to be. And then hey, relationship, ding, ding, ding. That was another problem, right? I want to be in a relationship first to where I could raise a baby with somebody and not do it by myself. So I have my woulda, shoulda, couldas where I almost want to change where I'm at today, but hey, things happen. I trust God. I honestly think everything will be okay. But at this point, I feel like I'm rambling, you guys. But that's pretty much what I want to talk about with fertility, just where I'm at right now in the process. And that's just trying to figure out my hormones. If anybody wants to leave me encouraging words, feel free to reach out to me on my Instagram. You can DM me. I've already had a few people do that, and I really appreciate it. I love being able to have other women that are kind of in the same place I am with their journey. Um, for anybody dealing with PCOS, endometriosis, or anything else that's kind of affecting their fertility, um, we in this together. Okay, everything's gonna be okay. Everything's gonna work out in our favor. And yes, I know some people hate hearing that everything's gonna be okay, but I say we have to be positive, manifest what we want. I believe in that, so I'm manifesting that everything's gonna work out. Thank you guys. I just want to talk about that. It was heavy on my heart, and I just kind of finally want to talk about it. I'm hoping other people can relate to what I'm dealing with, and yeah, I want you guys to see where I'm at now. That way you can see where I'm going to be later, because it's going to be amazing. All right. Subscribe, like, comment. You know what to do.